Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Nadlan. Happy Tuesday. So we are broadcasting to you from the East Coast of New York, giving you daily updates from real entrepreneurs of real estate, so you can become one yourself. And today we have post number 1+2 from our entrepreneur of the week, Idan Avivi. And today's post is about sometimes you win, the fact that sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. So who are we? Nadlan is providing real estate courses, mentoring, financing, deal analysis services, and great deal offerings. And by the way, we have a great expo in Israel on the 14th. So if you happen to be in Israel, you're welcome to join us. We're going to have great lecture for you guys. And of course, give us a thumbs up if you didn't do it so yet, and join our channel. And let's jump into the post of the day. All right, so let's start with the introduction post from Idan Avivi. Hello to all members of the forum. It is a great privilege for me to be here this week's entrepreneur, and many thanks to Avi Ben Mordechai for the opportunity and the stage. During the week, I will try to give you some of the knowledge and experience I've gained over the last 12 years in the field of real estate, focusing on my passion and the main field in which I'm engaged today. And that is new construction. So who am I? My name is Idan Avivi, the father of the magical Eitan and married to Elisheva, my other half, who complements me, accompanies, supports, balances, and makes sure that we remain stable on the path of the Yellowstones. We have been living in Tampa, Florida for the past 3 years, and we've been doing Army engineering, studying high-tech project. In short, until the age of 30, I went in the groove of being a manager. Good earner, attached vehicle from work, and a variety of treats. But something did not quite sit right. No matter how hard I tried to make financial calculations on how I progress financially in life, I've never been able to figure out how I managed to do it with the salary from work, good as it may be. Until one day, my mom, yes, I hired my mom, told me she was going to hear an introductory lesson in the capital market at Trent College and asked me to join her. I have no way to describe to you the feeling and the amount of flashes that came to me in that lesson. What? Money makes money? Do not have to work for it, but it goes against everything I was taught at home. I sat there gaping and thirsty for knowledge. My eyes opened and I immediately realized that this was the missing part of my financial puzzle. When I finished the course, all I wanted was to continue learning and understand where the big sums in our lives and how I increased them in my favor. So I did a home economics course, a real estate course, a mortgage advisor license, a brokerage license, advanced training on pensions and insurance, and I opened my first business in parallel with working in high tech for financial strategy and accompanied families to economic jumps. At the same time, I started doing real estate in Israel, flipping some apartments in Beersheba, buying and renting apartments in Haifa, and at the same time also buying properties for rent in the United States. Once I bought the first property in the US, already then I realized that there is something here with significant potential, and that is worth exploring in depth. I still bought the first house in the US in 2014, and do not have to be a big developer to understand that in 2014, no matter where you threw a stone, you hit a profitable house. So I started studying the subject again, and nowadays sources of knowledge are not lacking. I did quite a bit of industrial espionage and went as if I was an investor to other companies that do the same thing, where I was not. Fulfillment, Safe Future, SDB, Invo, Into, HAP, and many more, to understand how they work, how they present deals to investors, and what added value I can bring to my future investors. I researched the issue of taxation, opening companies, and more. At the same time, I consulted with friends and family if they have any friend acquaintances who lived in the US and deals in real estate, and it turned out that I came to two people, a guy in Raleigh, North Carolina, and another girl in Austin, Texas. After quite a few conversations about future collaborations, I flew to the US to meet the two to see and learn the territory and choose to continue with a local partner from North Carolina and set up a business with him to market real estate in the US. He located the assets and I recruited the investors in the country. And suddenly this boom landed on me. There I found my place. There I blossomed. Everything I learned in high tech and in the various courses suddenly connected at once into a wonderful passion of dealing with real estate. I bring all my managerial and interpersonal skills to the fore in the interaction and flow with investors, and my analytical skills analyze transactions accurately and conservatively. So 7 years ago, I officially left high tech and concentrated on real estate in the US. I started selling homes for rent to investors. Over time, we also made flips. We made progress to buying multifamily complexes with investor groups. And in the last 2 years, I mainly initiate new construction projects in areas of demand, and it is already a dream come true. It was my destination for 5 years. And sure, dream homes for families. In the following post, I will write about investor recruitment, failures and successes, challenges, risk management, and more. I hope you take some insight or a little tip that will advance you and help you take the next step. I promise to answer all the questions. Have a wonderful week and see you tomorrow. So this is Idan, all right? And we actually going to jump into the post of tomorrow, the next day, right after this short break. All right, guys. So after the introduction, let's jump into the actual first post, which Idan talks about sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. So I'm naturally optimistic. I always have been. I do not know how to explain it, but all my life I've always looked at the half full glass, and I think this approach has always helped me in life and, of course, the real estate field as well. You must internalize the economic change takes time. Social networks, conferences, etc. will always tell you how easy it is to make real estate and how they found a deal that earned them tens of thousands of dollars in 2 days of work. And the thing is that it is possible, but in front of every such deal, there are dozens of other deals that failed, or from the ego. You just will not hear about it, and statistically, these are most deals. So keep in mind that in order to lift a thriving real estate empire, you will fail along the way. It is important to internalize that failure is a temporary thing and has one meaning. It gives us knowledge that something is wrong with our program. Failure basically just shows us and directs us in the right direction. The failure should be accepted as a sign that the investment strategy we have built is unfounded and needs updating. Do not say something you win and sometimes you lose, but sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. You will learn from mistakes. Do not let them stop you. Many times the treasure is the very journey to it and not the treasure itself. You need to be able to present failure as feedback, feedback that will teach you lessons on the road to success. This, of course, sounds easier than it really is. After all, we all experience failures during our day-to-day work with family and friends, and it is easy to forget the basic rules and feel like a failure after something goes wrong. It's okay, we are allowed and even worth staying in bed the next day tucked under the blanket. Feel comfortable because this is our first instinct to feel disappointed after we have invested so much in ourselves and failed. After such a defeat, it is not easy to get up again and still try to learn from it the lesson for success. But one must not despair. Your greatest will be measured by the ability to internalize, contain, and learn failures. In a previous post, I told you that my first real estate business in the US was at Raleigh, North Carolina. At the time, I started to interest many dozens of investors who all expressed interest and wanted to invest, but somehow it never matured to the conclusion of the deal. I was frustrated. How can they not see the immense benefits that for me and so were so obvious? How come they do not understand that I'm going to make them cash registers? So I signed up for a few marketing courses, read a few books on the subject, sharpened my closing sentences, improved my body language, and the deals were not long in coming. In another case, I was looking for a hard money lender for the first deal, in which I took leverage and fell victim to a sophisticated scam. I got to the lender through quite a few recommendations from the Bigger Pockets website. For those who know, who is retrospect at the fake and part of the show. Everything seemed right. They sent an appraiser to the property, which was also part of it. The fake documents matched everything and it really looked like we were on the wave. I did not even suspect that something was wrong when we transferred $40,000 to him in the closing cost. Since then, his traces have disappeared. It could have broken me at the moment, but we put the past behind us. We learned a lesson in really that in life I would never have taken in any course. I can assure you that I also studied the lending field so well that it never happened and it will never happen again. The first house we built had a number of important parameters that we did not take into account as an expense in the business plan. This was mainly due to the lack of knowledge as it was our first project. This, of course, was supposed to hurt our investors, especially income, so instead of giving up, we tried to look at ways we could cover or reduce the additional expenses even at the expense of our profit in the deal. So we worked for 8 months on the unpaid project. The investors were happy with the deal and they left the money for the next deal, which was already profitable for us as well. And of course, we have sharpened our business plans since then, and we work in a very conservative way, which allows us to achieve fantastic results in almost every transaction. Winston Churchill said, "Success is the ability to move from one failure to another without losing enthusiasm." And I think that says it all. Feel free to write in the comments about your failures and ways of coping to show everyone that we are human and also make mistakes. I'm sure the support of the forum members will be worth the sharing. Idan. So Idan is sharing here an illustration. At the top, we see an iceberg illusion. So the top part is success. This is what people see. Okay, they see the success, but under that, there is persistent, there is failure, there is sacrifice, there is disappointment, there is discipline, hard work, and dedication. So people don't see all of that. All right, guys. So this is our post today, and thank you for being with us here. And we will be with the next post from Idan Avivi tomorrow. Have a good day.